Wow, this took a really long time. It's almost 11 in the morning as I finally got around to this. Anyways, here is my Week 10 picks for the 2018 NFL season. Last week, oh boy, here we go again. Went down to 8-5, unfortunately, after going 11-3 the previous week. Oh man, that really sucks. I need to get back into shape and get another 11-3 or something like that and get over 750 winning percentage. And anyways, here is the playoff stands of the season today. In the AFC, I think it remains the same from last week. The Chiefs and Patriots with the byes, with the Bengals at the Steelers, and the Chargers at the Texans. And in the NFC, it's the Rams and Saints with the byes, with the Vikings at the Bears, and the Panthers at the Redskins. And Super Bowl pick still remains the same, Chiefs and Rams, although I can't really decide who would win with that one until they play Mexico City, I think, next week. That's going to be sick. But now for this week's picks. So we get things started with Thursday night, and holy crap, this is huge! A big Thursday night game, as it's the Panthers at the Steelers for the first time since 2010, and funny enough, last time they met in 2010 in Pines Field, that was also Thursday night. Of course, how much different situation that was. Steelers were Super Bowl bound, Panthers were the worst team in the league, and such like that. Oh boy. And the Panthers, I think it's now like 3 wins in a row or something like that, and they were really dominant, especially offensively too. They played a lot better offensively the last bunch of weeks. You gotta start really considering them not only a playoff threat, but maybe finally getting back to their Super Bowl form possibly of 2015 after they dismantled the Buccaneers, although that was still pretty bad. They let the Buccaneers almost came back with those 4 touchdowns from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Meanwhile, the Steelers look like they finally are turning it around as they won 4 in a row themselves. And they're looking pretty good, even though Le'Veon Bell is still holding out. Of course, what's the point of even worrying about him? This could be a hard-fought game between the teams and probably defensive as hell. But I think I'm going to say the Steelers will get this. But I will not be surprised either if the Panthers will get it either. They've made numerous comebacks throughout the season so far. Then we get to Sunday action, starting with the Lions at the Bears. As the Lions, ouch! Oh my god, what a debacle it was at the Vikings. Matthew Stafford got sacked like 10 times, something like that. Oh my god, unbelievable. What a terrible performance is what that was. As they've now lost 2 in a row, I think now. And the Bears have won 2 in a row themselves after they destroyed the Bills, much to no one's surprise whatsoever. And of course, I think the Bears will get this one pretty damn easily. The Lions barely beat the Bears the last bunch of years when they came here, and that's when the Bears were significantly worse. Now the Bears are a much better team, so they should have no trouble beating the Lions. Then we get to a big outer conference showdown, as it's the Saints at the Bengals for the first time since 2010. As the Saints, they've won 7 in a row, and I think they might have the best winning streak in the league now that they've beaten the Rams. And they, of course, are second place in the division, conference, right there behind the Rams. If they win here and Rams loss, they can be right back, right number 1 in the conference. Meanwhile, the Bengals, I think they had their bye week last week when they destroyed the Buccaneers at first. Then the Buccaneers made the comeback, but the Bengals managed to get it. So halfway through the season, 5-3, getting close to matching their win total from last year. Pretty good, and they would be in the playoffs right now if the season ended today. But they still got a lot of work to do. The AFC wildcard race is really going to be hard fought still, and they got to give the Saints a hell of an effort like they did back in 2010 when they were significantly worse off, and keep that win streak going when they last beat them 4 years ago. But I think the Saints will get this, but don't underestimate the Bengals, Saints. They have your number over the years. And then it's the Falcons at the Browns for the first time since 2010. As the Falcons, they finally seem to have fixed their defensive woes, as they've now won 3 in a row and have looked pretty damn good too, as they destroyed the Redskins last Sunday. Meanwhile, the Browns, no surprise, they got destroyed by Chiefs, which unfortunately for them now, I think they've lost like 4 in a row or something like that. Oh boy, but hey, still 2-6-1 is better than being 0-9 or something like that. Still needs some massive improvements. That offense is inconsistent as hell. I think the Falcons will get this, but don't underestimate the Browns. They can put up an effort week in and week out. And then we get probably to a big AFC South showdown that probably might be the only teams remaining that might be able to challenge the Texans at that division, possibly. As that's the Jaguars at the Colts, although the Titans are still right behind at head of 4-4. Jaguars, of course, off their bye week after that London loss against the Eagles, which was so close, so hard fought. Meanwhile, the Colts were also, I think, on their bye week, as they've won 3 in a row. Not 3 in a row, 2 in a row, and they look pretty damn good as well, especially on the offense. And, of course, the Jaguars, Leonard Fournette's coming back, so that might help out as well. And of course, remember the Jaguars swept and destroyed the Colts last year, but of course that's without Andrew Luck. He's back now, so this is going to be a hard fought battle between one of the better defenses and offenses against each other. But seeing how the Colts are playing red hot right now, the Jaguars have lost 4 in a row. I think I'm going to say the Colts for this one, but don't be surprised if the Jaguars get it. And then it's the Cardinals at the Chiefs for the first time since 2010, as the Cardinals, I think, were on their bye. Yeah, I think they were on their bye week when they last played the 49ers a few weeks ago. And a comeback win, too. That was pretty big. Meanwhile, the Chiefs dismantle the Browns to no one's surprise and still have they tie the Rams for the #1 record in the league, and they have the #1 record still in the AFC. Oh my god, even on weekly pickups, they have a 99% consensus that the Chiefs will win. That's so funny. Now, of course, you should not underestimate the Cardinals. They've played a lot better a bunch of weeks than I would expect them to be, since I thought they were going to be like the worst team in the NFC. So you can't fully underestimate them, but I'm most certainly going to pick the Chiefs for this one. Oh boy, it's going to be a bloodbath for the Cardinals. Then it's the Bills at the Jets. As so much for getting our first Sam Darnold and Josh Allen showdown, since I think Allen's still injured and Sam Darnold's injured now, so Josh McCown's coming in now. And find out that might actually give him an offensive boost too, since Josh McCown actually could still play at least. Of course, we'll see what he does first time this year. As the Bills got destroyed by the Bears to no one's surprise, and the Jets, oh man, lost a very close game to the Dolphins. Man, that's hard to prevent that sweep from happening, which you did. But I think the Bills, not the Bills, the Jets will get this one. But who knows? You never can underestimate the Bills. They've won a couple of games that no one would expect either. Then it's the Redskins at Buccaneers for the first time since 2012, I believe, as the Redskins got their asses kicked by the Falcons. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers got their asses kicked by the Panthers, but then they made that big comeback, but just couldn't pull it off in the end. Oh boy, this is going to be one hell of an interesting showdown between teams with two contrasting records. But I actually think the Buccaneers might actually pull it off, because I never really fully trust the Redskins, but who knows, maybe they can still pull it off in the end, but I'm saying the Buccaneers for now. Then it's the Patriots at the Titans for the first time since 2012, as it's our rematch from the division round last year, as the Patriots have now won 6 in a row, or within striking distance. If they win and the Chiefs somehow lose to the Cardinals, the Patriots have the #1 record in the AFC. Meanwhile, the Titans finally ended their losing streak, and they're right back in the mix of both the AFC wildcard race, but also in the race for the AFC South, because they got a lot of work to catch up to the Texans. And thankfully, the Texans got a bye week, so they can have a chance to get within a game. But I mean, it could be a hard-fought game, because the Patriots have struggled on the road this year, especially against teams with really good defenses, so maybe the Titans could put up an effort, but I still think in the end the Patriots will win it, but don't underestimate the Titans either. Then we get to the 4 p.m. games, starting with the Chargers at the Raiders, as the Chargers themselves have won 5 in a row, and looked really damn impressive, especially that big win against the Seahawks last week that they barely held on to with that goal line stance. Holy shit, that was close, especially since they had that debacle where they let the Seahawks get down there to almost tie it up and such. And the Raiders, wow, you let a rookie quarterback in his first start torch your ass? Why am I not surprised? Nothing's going right for them. They are such a debacle-filled team right now. And of course, no surprise, picking the Chargers. Then we get to a game that was flexed in, of course, as it was the Dolphins at the Packers for the first time since 2010. As the Dolphins, in a very hard, ugly defensive struggle, they managed to win against the Jets, and they're right in the mix in the AFC at 5-4 in the wildcard race. Meanwhile, the Packers, ouch, 2 losses in a row, and you weren't even close to meeting up with the Patriots, just like I thought you wouldn't. So much for all that hype. But of course, you're at home. You're a much better team than the Dolphins. I would be sure that you would hopefully win this. But then again, of course, the Dolphins, last time they came here, they beat the Packers. So who knows what to expect. But I would assume the Packers would probably get this. And if they don't, oh boy, they are definitely probably going to be out of the playoff race. But then again, they could make an easy comeback like they usually do every year. Then we get to a crucial NFC West showdown, as it's the Seahawks at the Rams. And if the Rams win this, they really are going to put themselves in contention to run away with the NFC West right now. But the Seahawks remain their last legitimate challenger for that division, as the Seahawks, Oh man, a blown opportunity to maybe make the comeback against the Chargers after Chargers made so many mistakes. Meanwhile, the Rams, I knew they weren't going to beat the Saints, and that was proven right in the end. So much for trying to stay undefeated for much longer. At least made halfway and had their best win streak in almost 50 years, I mean to say. Well, the last time they met, of course, the Seahawks almost made it go into like overtime and such like that. And of course, remember last year, the Seahawks have actually won 2 in a row in Los Angeles in a very hard defensive struggle. So Rams should not underestimate the Seahawks whatsoever. They're playing pretty damn good, about a lot better than probably anyone else fought, but I think I'm going to pick the Rams still for this one. And then we get to Sunday night, which hopefully will be a defensive struggle, as I adore, as it's the Cowboys at the Eagles. Oh, boy, I'm surprised they didn't flex this out. But, of course, a big rivalry between two struggling teams as always. As the Cowboys, holy crap, you were terrible against the Titans. Which is incredible since, like, the first quarter, you made the Titans their bitch. I mean, your bitch, for God's sake, when you forced those free fumbles. It was terrible, but in the end, you blew it and let the Titans get the win on the road. And the Eagles off their bye week after they managed to beat the Jaguars in London. That was a hard-fought game. The Eagles have a chance now if they beat the Cowboys here and the Redskins lose to the Buccaneers. They are tied with the Redskins for the NFC East lead. And of course, they still have to play each other twice in December. So it's all up in the air for the Eagles. They need to win this game to have any to be with still competitive in the NFC East, and I think the Eagles will get this win. And then we get to Monday night, which a game that I never understood why they picked this, and of course the record shows why. As it's the Giants at the 49ers for the second year in a row. Why would you pick this? The Giants were 3-13 last year. The 49ers were 1-8 and such for 1-10, and they went 6-10, such like that. And of course, remember the 49ers spanked the Giants last year really well and got their first win of the year last year. This was really not a match at all. Even with the 49ers getting a whole bunch of hype for Monday night, it was really a bad decision. And of course, I think the 49ers will easily get this win. But then again, you can't underestimate the Giants, especially with their hard-fought defense. It's just their offense is inconsistent as hell. And we'll see if God, what's his name? I don't even remember his name. I didn't even know the 49ers were actually starting a different quarterback at first until the game actually starts. I thought they were still doing current backup for Jimmy G. We'll see how he does against an actual good defense, if the game against the Raiders was just a fluke or was it for real. But I'm picking the 49ers like I said earlier. So those are my picks for Week 10. I say this all the time. I most certainly cannot wait to watch Panthers at Steelers tonight. That is going to be sick. And of course, I can't wait to see all the other games, especially next week, that Monday night game in Mexico City with the Chiefs and Rams. Oh boy, that's going to be